Guys, section 5, you made it. We're cranking right through this thing. Congratulations on getting this far. Now what we're going to want to do is put logos in this. So we're going to put your logo in there, we're going to put the producer's logo or the event logo, and then any kind of text that the customer wants. We might do their name, we might do their horse's name, and then we're going to make that look really cool. So let's get into it. We'll dive back into the computer and let's get started.
Okay, now here we are back at it. In the computer again. This is a familiar site. First thing we're going to do is hit T on the keyboard for text, or you can go over there and click the text tool, and we're going to make the text. And then I saw it was really small, so I'm just going to make it bigger. Just a little tip: you can, when those double-ended arrows are there, you can just click and drag, and it will make that text bigger. Now this is Ben Clements, so we're just going to type his name here, and then the hardest part for me is always picking a font. I have so many fonts that I love, and I'm buying new fonts all the time. Adobe has some great fonts right here. If you click this button that I'm hovering over now, you can just download these free fonts from Adobe if you have the right membership there through Adobe. It's called Typekit. If you have access to Typekit, you have access to lots of great fonts that are high resolution. You can use them in any way you would like, and they are great. Maybe not any way you like. I'm sure there are some stipulations to that. Don't quote me on that, but you can use them for this for darn sure. Okay, for this, I'm going to actually use this Billionaire font. Now, I just am using this font for two reasons. One, I think Ben will like it. And for two, it's a new font that I just purchased through Envato Market. I'll post a link to that here so you guys can purchase that if you would like to as well. But it's a pretty cool font. It also came with some ornamentals and things. I'm not going to use those in this. I think that's a little bit too much for this because we're going to be hiding this font here just a little bit behind their heads. You see I drag it here below all of the cutouts. So it's behind their heads. I think that kind of just adds a little bit more dimension, adds a little bit of that layered effect. Now, sometimes what you can do is change your blending mode to like an overlay or something if you have a really cool textured background, and you can make it look like that was painted on to like a brick wall or whatever. Whatever your surface is behind there, it looks like it was painted on, or like chalk or whatever, like somehow actually adhered to that surface in real life. You can double click on the layer that has the text on it, and it'll come up with this layer styles. You can do this with any layer. You can double click. So as a cheap free option, you can just go through and adjust these manually yourself, all these different settings. You can change the colors. You can do a bevel, you can do an emboss, a stroke, all these things. There's outer glows, there's inner glows, there's drop shadows, and you can make this text look way different than how it started. Instead of just being plain text on the background, you can give it some dimension. You can add a pattern over it like I'm doing here, and I'm just kind of going through some examples of some things that you could do if you want to, and if you don't have to spend any more money on this deal. So it's just a nice way to spice it up for free. It just takes a little bit of your time and effort. And once you kind of play with these a little bit, you kind of get the feel of them, and they do work really good, and you can make some really cool stuff. Then once you've created something that you really like and you want to use it again in the future, you can just save it as like a style preset, which is at the very top over here. I'm going to click on that now. And then you'll see a bunch of presets that I have. And most of these I have just purchased because you can get 100 of them for like $4 or $5 on Envato Market or lots of other places. I'll put a link to these here too, but I'm just going to run through a couple of these that I know like might look really cool. And this is what I do each time. I kind of go through an experiment, and I think maybe this one will look cool. Maybe I want to go for like a metal kind of a look, make it look like it's silver, or maybe gold, or, maybe like a jewelry. Like this is a jeweled one that I picked up recently. And you can just click on them. And most of the time they work with just one click. They're just a preset. They're ready to go right out of the box. You can get some retro kind of vibe ones. But for this one, I know that Ben is, he's a cowboy, right? And this is him. This is what he looks like every single day. So he is the man. So what I want to do for Ben is do like a leather kind of a look here. So pretty soon I'm going to choose the one that looks like leather. Now I have like 4 different options of leather. I'm going to pick out my favorite one. It's kind of like more of a rustic sort of a leather look. But as you can see, there's lots of different options here. You won't have these installed on your computer, but like I said, you can purchase them for very, very inexpensively. Now here's that leather one, and you can see that kind of midway up, or the top third is like darker than the bottom third. So what I'm going to want to do here is go to pattern overlay, and then you have to adjust it a little bit, and then you can just drag it around here. So once you've kind of manipulated it a little bit, then you get it where you want it, and you can scale it, and then that'll adjust it, because that's the pattern is like a gradient sort of in the, on it, burned into it. And so you kind of just need to make some adjustments there for how that looks, and then try to hide it behind some of that smoke, because that, once again, we're just adding some more dimension to things. And then what I'll do here is add a layer mask to that that's white, and then paint over with my smoke brush, paint over some of that smoke to kind of make it a little bit more transparent, and so you can see that text a little bit better, because we don't want to totally hide it. We don't want to make it unlegible. So we want to make sure it's nice and clear and easy to read, but still little bits of it are hidden, so you can see a little bit of depth in there. So what I'm doing now is just what I should have done probably a long time ago, is make a little bit of margin here for bleed. And I've done this enough to where I just know kind of by looking at it how much bleed I need. But this is a nice guide, and I'm just kind of roughing it in now. As you can see, my margins aren't exactly perfect, but you want to have like maybe a 1/4 inch of bleed all the way around. And that, what bleed means is it's like overprint. So when they print these onto aluminum or paper or whatever, and it's a full borderless print, some of that has to go off of the page. Some of the ink will be off of the page. So you're going to lose a little bit. So always just think of your image as being cropped in just a little bit. So for the final product. So the next thing we're going to do is grab some logos. So you'll see that I have all my logos in one folder on my desktop. And I don't recommend putting a lot of things on your desktop, but logos are nice because you're using those for the long term. So I just grab my logo, and I'm going to probably place it here for now, and then make some adjustments there. I don't like that you can't see it all in the smoke. So what I'll probably do is just move it around a little bit here. And then I did like that spot better, so I will move it later. But what we're going to do is kind of just make sure our logos are present and visible. They don't need to be distracting from the overall piece. I mean, these customers of ours have paid quite a lot of money for these, and we don't want to just make it look like they stole it or something. We don't want to muddy the water with our logo necessarily. I mean, you do you. It's all to your personal taste, and if your customer likes it. For me personally, I like to just make my logo small on these. Normally, you'll see on my other prints that I do a large logo because it's just normal print. I don't mind putting a big logo on there. And then this extreme team roping is the event that we were at here, but it's also Ben here owns that event. He's the man in charge, like I said earlier. So him and his wife Jody, they own that extreme team roping. And so I'm just trying to decide if I want it behind the smoke or on top of the smoke, and I think on top of the smoke works. And then you can also double click these layers too with the logos on them, and their logo is like a little flat here, and you can just do the same thing that you can with text. You can do it with any shape, all kinds of different things. So these layer styles, they don't all look good on everything, but I'm just doing that just to show you guys, and then I hit cancel because I don't want to screw with his logo, but just as an example so you can see what's going on here. So this is basically the finished product. This is it. We've come a long ways. So we started with just regular pictures right out of the camera. We edited them in Lightroom. Then we brought them into Photoshop. We cut them out. We arranged them onto a cropped size. So we arranged them onto the aspect ratio that we are going to use. In this case, it was a 2-to-1 ratio. And then we put a background in there and we separated those layers with some smoke. We added text, we added logos. Now, there's one more thing that we're going to do in the next section. It's just polishing it up, making it look ready, prepping it for print, that sort of thing. And that's it. So you could just stop here, like I said in the last section, and you would have an awesome product. But we're going to make it just a little bit more awesome in the next one, and then go over some things that I do to kind of cover my butt when it comes to presenting these to a customer and they make changes, and what do we do when they want the first version that you sent or some previous version after they've made a bunch of changes. So we're going to get into that into the next one, just a little teaser for that. And hopefully you guys are getting some great value out of this. Hopefully yours look very similar to this, or you are doing something amazing that you're proud of. So that's it for now, and we'll see you in the next section. Thanks.